सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामय सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. So welcome to our Saturday morning session. As decided, we will talk about how to keep our lifestyle in order so that we can maintain good health. In Rajasthani, we say, Pehlo Sukh Nirogi Kaya. Without good health, you cannot enjoy anything in life. You can't enjoy food, you can't even enjoy the company of your near and dear ones. You can't enjoy sitting at home or working in office. So health is the most important aspect of human life. Without that, nothing would be worth living for. So first of all, I would like to say that human body is the most miraculous creation in this world. Everything is miraculous in this world. For example, you have a seed and the seed fructifies into a large tree with flowers and branches and leaves and fruits. You also have different variety of animals. They have their own style of living. Some live in the water, some on earth, some in the air. So everything is miraculous in this world. If we observe this nature around us, you will find that there are miracles happening every second here. But out of all these miracles, the human life is the most miraculous. Human body and mind is unique. All other living beings also have body, which is fantastic. But the combination of mind and body in human beings is the most magical creation in this universe. Now, if we look at the engineering of this body, with a small little, not even a drop, it's a minuscule drop of semen with little bit of egg, develops into a fetus, and then it develops into a full-blown child with all the senses, eyes and ears and nose and lungs and all those organs. It develops automatically on its own. And when the child is born, the development continues. So this is the most fantastic engineering, as many people call it. So we should look at some of the most fantastic sides of it. First of all, everything which is inanimate goes into the body. Like we eat wheat, or we eat vegetables, we eat fruit, that is all inanimate. We eat, inside goes, it becomes animate. It becomes alive. As soon as it goes into the body, it becomes alive. So inanimate thing converted into animate. Similarly, out of this animate body, if I pinch my body a little bit here, it pains. But if you pinch your hair and cut them off, nothing happens. So you have nails which have come out and you can cut them, nothing happens. So out of animate body, inanimate things come out. So you see a miracle. Inanimate converting into life form and life form converting into inanimate. This is the first miracle of human body. I mean, this miracle also exists in other species of life, but it is far more visible in human beings. Then if you look at the nervous system in the human body, the modern science says that 16,000 kilometers of fiber optic network is existing in the brain. 16,000 kilometers of fiber optic in the human brain. This is something unbelievable in this small little, part of the body. Then if you look at the liver, it is a large factory of chemicals. Some scientists tell me that 5 square kilometers of land will not be enough to produce all types of chemicals which your liver produces every day. So this is fantastic machinery inside, put into a very minuscule, way. Then you have kidneys, which actually purify 400 gallons of blood every single day. 400 gallons of blood every single day. Then you have cells all over the body. The scientists differ on that, but they are definitely trillions in number. There are trillions of cells in the human body, and they all work cohesively, but also independently. If you look at, if you observe your hair properly, you will realize that one particular hair grows faster than the other. And one particular hair has become gray and the others nearby are all still black, because they are connected with the cells in an intimate way. So that reflects the functioning of every single cell separately. So this is not only the cells, but also other organs of the body which work together in a cohesive manner. Then if we look at another fact of science, they say 32 million pieces of bacteria are existing on every square inch of human body. 32 million bacteria, every square inch of human body. So you can imagine how many bacteria are there. If you ask a doctor, he will tell you in your digestive system there are billions of bacteria, and they help in digestive process of the body. So these are some of the facts about the miraculous side of the human body. Then we should look at the immune system, because that is the one which is most relevant when it comes to health. Immune system protects human body every single second from attack of thousands of outside forces. And this is the most protective shield created anywhere in the world. If we preserve this shield properly, we can be very healthy. We can have a long life. And in Sanskrit, they say we will be swasth. We will be well established in our own self, swasth. So the immune system is the doctor of all doctors in the world. Even the medical doctor, when you go to him, he will always tell you that after taking the medication, the other important requirement is that you should have enough sleep. Why does he tell you that? Because during the sleep, the immune system looks after ailments of the body. All the ailments are actually identified and addressed by the immune system, particularly when the energy is directed inside during the sleep. During the waking state of human body, we have the energy which is acting outside. It is not, what you call directed inwards. It is directed outwards during the waking state, but it is directed inwards during the sleep state, and that is the time when the immune system works properly. So these are some of the facts about the immune system of the body. We talked about 5 great elements and 3 doshas, Vata, Kapha and Pitta, in our last session. Now we will directly go how we regulate our daily routine so that we can be healthy. It is never too late to start a regulated life, never too late. It is best to start it in childhood, but if we cannot, even today, we can start a regulated life. First thing, there are 7-8 elements of regulated life. The first important element is that the food we eat becomes our body. The blood, our flesh, our bones, our skin, they are all made of the food we eat, including the neurons in our brain. So the food we eat has to be healthy. That is the first topmost requirement. What is the meaning of healthy food? You will find variety of prescriptions by doctors. You go on Google, you will find large number of advices given to you every single day. These advices will keep changing because the modern science doesn't have finality. They don't have what we call param gyan, the ultimate knowledge. Their knowledge is transient. Today they discover something, they tell you tomorrow that discovery is turned upside down and they tell you something different. So that is why you will keep learning from variety of people what to eat, what not to eat, which vitamin to take and which protein not to take and what minerals, all kinds of things. Now, I can assure you that no science can actually analyze the food ingredients properly. So the best thing is to understand nature and work with the nature. The food should be, first of all, seasonal. The fruits and vegetables which you eat, they should be seasonal. Don't eat mango right now because this is not the season of mango. This is the season of apple. This is the season of sitafal. This is the season of singada. So you should eat seasonal fruits, seasonal vegetables. The first principle. Nature automatically provides that for you. Forget about whether it contains vitamin and protein and not. Forget about all that. No doctor can be very accurate on those elements of food. So first thing, eat seasonal vegetables and seasonal fruits. Cereals, you can have mix of cereals. Cereals can be used throughout the year. You can have wheat and rice and maize and other variety of cereals depending upon the climatic conditions of your stay. So cereals can be mixed and matched, but fruits and vegetables should be seasonal. That is the first lesson we have to draw. Don't go into the details of minerals and proteins and vitamins and carbohydrates and all that. The second principle is that the food should be fresh. As far as possible, take fresh food. Any food which is old, stale, will not be healthy. Even if you preserve in the best refrigerator, it will not be very healthy. So prepare, fresh food. And also if you eat warm or hot food, it's better for digestive system because the heat is the one which helps in digestive process. And that is why we call Agni inside the body, which makes us digest the food. If the Agni is weak, our digestive system is weak. So Agni is very closely associated with digestive process. And that is why we cook food. Cooking of the food is important because that helps in digestive process. Food which is not properly cooked will not be good for the health. So this is the third principle, that we should cook food properly. We should eat fresh food. And the next principle is moderation. The food should not be eaten to fill your stomach. If you feel hungry, eat approximately not more than 2/3 of your hunger. If you want to eat 3 chapatis, you should eat only 2. 1/3, at least 1/3 of your stomach should be empty, because that allows the digestive process to function properly. So that is the next principle of food. The first is seasonal. Second is, freshly made. Third is hot, well cooked. And fourth is moderation. These are the basic principles of food, taking the food inside the body. The fifth principle of taking food inside the body is that while eating food, you should concentrate on food and feel that it is nourishing your body. That's very important. It's a psychology which actually operates inside the body. Some people do not find time to eat properly, then the food will not nourish that body properly. You have to concentrate on the food, pay respect to the food, and eat it nicely, thinking that it is nourishing your body. If you go back in time, like my father and grandfather used to pay respect to the food first. They used to say like this to the food, and then they eat with respect. And that food actually helps in nourishment of the body. So these are the principles for the food. Second thing is sun cycle. Sun is regulating human life in and out. You have seen that our day begins with sunrise and day starts coming to end with sunset. It is the energy of the sun which runs our pranic energy. All the 5 pranas are recharged every single day by sun energy. That is precisely the reason that during the daytime we eat 4 times and we feel hungry. In the night time, because the sun is not there, the pranas are not properly recharged, and therefore we do not feel hungry. And if you eat too late in the night, the food is actually becomes poisonous. It is not healthy for you. It is not nourishing your body, but it is, creating, in fact, more waste inside the body. So we have to follow the sun cycle. The sun guides the human life from beginning of the day till end of the day. We should not escape the sun. Now in modern era, because of air conditioning, we do not get sun inside the body, which is not good. We should also expose our body to the sun periodically, because the direct sunlight inside the body will recharge all your organs nicely, and particularly your pranic energy. You look at these Western people, they don't get enough sun in the winter period, and therefore they go on the beaches and lie down in the sun for days together just to recharge their energy from the sun. That is the reason they go to the beaches and lie down under the sea, under the suns. We feel this is strange, but it is because it is a natural requirement of body. If you are in a very cold climate, in a climate where sun stays only for a few hours in a day, like some of the Nordic countries, and the sun is there barely 5 to 6 hours a day, and therefore they need to get more sun. We are lucky in India, we get enough quantity and quality of sun. We should expose to sunlight periodically so that our body is properly recharged. So sun is extremely important. The so-called nightlife is destructive. That nightlife is not meant for good health. It is actually meant to cause health problems. So one should avoid nightlife to the extent possible. One should follow the sun cycle, and one should actually sleep by, say, 10 in the night and then get up by 6 o'clock or even earlier. So this we have to follow sun cycle. First is food, second is sun cycle. Third is, in Sanskrit, they call it mal, or discharge of waste, or discharge of toxins from the body. Now, if you have a dustbin in your house and if you keep putting garbage and you do not take it out and clean it properly, after a few days you will find insects are breeding inside the dustbin. And this is exactly the state in the human body. The pranic energy actually digests the food and takes out the waste, and the waste is segregated. Some of the waste we discard in the morning in the form of our stool and urine, but some of the waste stays with the blood, with the flesh, with other parts of the body. And that waste has to come out from sweating. And that is why sweating is also important for taking out the toxins. Periodically working hard, going out in the sun and sweating is extremely important, because that is a process where you take out the waste from the body. Similarly, like the Diwali is coming now, we clean our house every day, but still we require deep cleaning during Diwali. We realize that despite daily cleaning, a lot of dust has accumulated in different parts of the body, different parts of the house, and we need to clean it. Similarly, in the human body also, despite daily cleaning, there are some parts of the body which keep accumulating, waste, and that has to be discarded once in a year, or once in 2 years, or once in 6 months, depending on your decision. And that is why in Ayurveda they have a process called Panchkarma. Panchkarma is a process through which deep cleaning of the body takes place. They regulate your diet, they regulate your massage and exercise, they give you certain medications, particularly with ghee, and that whole process helps in deep cleaning of the body through different processes. There are variety of processes in Panchkarma through which the Vaidyas clean your body. Those processes are person specific, and therefore the Vaidya examines the body and then decides what kind of process would be most suitable for a particular individual. So that is another part of cleaning the body. But at the same time, we should also avoid taking things which turn poisonous into the body. All things which are chemicals in nature, which are in the form of pesticides or insecticides or preservatives, all these things are actually fundamentally creating more toxins in the body. And that is why we should avoid taking those things which create toxins in the body. Simultaneously, we should follow this process of cleaning the body. Firstly, cleaning every day. First thing one should do in the morning is to get up, take 1 or 2 glasses of warm water, and go to the toilet. That should be the first thing. No tea, no coffee, nothing, no eating. We have this great tradition these days, people taking bad tea or people taking bad breakfast and then going for toilet. That's not a good habit. You have to get up, take 2 glasses of warm water and go to the toilet first. I think cleaning is very important before you start eating anything. And then you clean your body from outside, that is, you take a shower, proper shower, and then you should clean your mind. That is, you should sit down quietly for a few minutes for meditation or for prayer, and then you should start your day. So I think in the beginning of the day, it is extremely important. And this is also called Brahm Muhurat, because this is the time when everything is quiet, everything is positive. The Sattvic Guna is at the peak in the early morning hours. As the day grows, you have more Rajas. In the evening, it is more Tamas. In the morning hours, it is more Sattvic. So in that hour of the day, one should clean the body first, one should take shower, and after shower, it is useful to sit down for 10-15 minutes to pray or to meditate, and then start your day with eating or whatever you want to take. I think this schedule will help you in proper cleaning of the body and also balancing your mind to some extent. So this is the second part. The first was food. The second is disposal of waste, proper disposal of waste. The second was sun cycle, and third is proper disposal of waste. Now we go to the fourth part. Fourth part is exercise. You see, body is designed in such a way that you need to exercise every single day. In the olden days, people used to remain busy with agriculture, so there was a natural exercise done by them. If you are carrying weight, if you are doing work in the fields, it's a hard work, and you used to do exercise. You used to sweat, your toxins will come out, your body will feel hungry after the exercise. Now the new lifestyle is that you take a car in the porch of your house and you return to that porch. Whole day you are sitting in the office or sitting at home, and you are eating all kinds of heavy food stuff. That is not a good healthy style. It has to be balanced. Physical exercise is an important requirement of good health. That is why in childhood, in ashrams or in gurukuls, the children used to, work hard. They would work with the guru. They go to the jungle, cut wood, they prepare food, they do agriculture, they do cleaning. All those things were cultivated in childhood. A new habit was cultivated. Now that childhood is not existing anymore, particularly in cities. Rich people do not want their children to work, and therefore that habit of hard work has disappeared. Like in my childhood, I worked very hard in village in different areas. I worked in the fields. We used to draw water from the wells, and we used to run. We used to, carry heavy things from one place to another. All that habit was important to contribute what we call exercise of the body, so that your food is properly digested and you feel tired, and then you feel sleepy and you have a good deep sleep. Without exercise, without proper digestive system, you cannot have deep sleep. When I go in the morning, sometimes early morning in Jaipur, I find people sleeping on the roadside, and they are so deeply asleep that the traffic doesn't bother them at all. And they slept in the night there on the same roadside because they worked very hard in the daytime. The digestive system was proper, so nothing disturbed their sleep. But rich people cannot sleep in 7-star hotels. They keep shifting from one side to another, and karvat badalte rehte hain pure raat. And despite that, all the comforts they have, but they are not able to sleep because they do not do proper physical exercise. Proper physical exercise is an important aspect of good health. So you can do this exercise either in the form of yoga, which is very simple. You don't need any equipment. You can do it in your house on a small, carpet, or on a what we call yoga mat these days, or you can just use, anything, any spread on the floor and do it. So it doesn't require any equipment. You can do yoga exercise at home, or if you are used to gym, you can go to the gym. but avoid very heavy exercise. Avoid exercise which involves jerks or very heavy weightlifting. Those are not good. Even in the young age, it's not good. All those people who participate in sprint and fast running and sports which are very strenuous, they all have problem in middle age. They have knee problems or they have bone problems subsequently. So exercises should be light and they should not be excessive in quantum. So that is very important. You have to set a regime that you will do this particular physical exercise every day in the morning, either yoga or some gym or jogging or walking or swimming or whatever, playing some sport in the morning, whatever you do. I think half an hour to 40 minutes or 1 hour exercise will be absolutely refreshing for the body. So that is another important aspect. Now, very important aspect is uncluttered mind. Mind and body are, closely intertwined. They work together. And mind impacts on body extremely, delicately and to a great extent. Since I play golf a little bit, I know how mind impacts on your thing. If, for example, if you have a thought that your next shot will go in a bunker, just a thought, whatever you do later on, that shot goes only in the bunker. So the mind directs your body in such a way that it happens. You would have realized it in many ways that if you decide something in your mind firmly, it actually happens. And that is why in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we have discussed that once earlier. There's a process in which the action fructifies in life. The process is that everything starts with an idea, with a thought in the mind. The thought, it is thought again and again, it becomes, an idea. An idea, if you keep thinking, then it becomes your will. And when will takes effect, you start working for it to realize. So it converts into an action, and action becomes your life. So that everything starts with an idea in your mind. The same thing is true for the health. Uncluttered mind is extremely important. Like these days, I see these, news in the evening, and sometimes you see the channels make you, I don't know how to call it, but they keep repeating the same thing in a very highly emotional way. And, you start flowing with the wind and you remain completely involved into that exercise. And that goes deep inside your mind and disturbs you. For example, they will take a case of a murder and they will go into finer details and this comment and that comment and, all kinds of scenes will be shown to you on the news, and that will go deep in your mind, hurting you. So those are the things which keep going as inputs in our mind. Now, I don't want to say that we should not see the news, but anything which is intruding in your mind too much, it is better to avoid that. Whether it is highly emotional film, whether it is highly penetrating news, whether it is highly emotional dialogue anywhere, that goes deep in your mind, affecting your entire system, nervous system, your body system, and your thought process. And then with internet, there are a variety of things which keep coming on the net. When you are looking at your email, all kinds of ads will come and you get trapped into one of the ads and you flow with that ad, and you are what you call swimming on internet, or what they call, what is the word? There's a special word for that. You are basically going with the stream on internet. So that kind of flow is the one which keeps forcing you to go in a particular direction. Now that basically means your mind is controlled by somewhere else. Your mind is controlled by outside events, by outside happenings, by outside people, by outside disturbances. That process then gets input into the mind and your mind becomes cluttered. To keep the mind uncluttered, you have to set your objective right straight. Every single day you can set a routine that this is how I will carry on my day. And you proceed according to that routine, you will realize that you have clarity of thought. You are not invaded by outside forces. Otherwise, there's a very good chance that you will be invaded. Your mind will be invaded by a variety of forces working outside. So this is extremely important for good health. Avoiding invasion of extraneous factors, factors which are not known to you, because they will leave deep scars on your mind and those scars will then impact on your body. So this is very important. It can be avoided through a regulated life. You follow a routine. You set out in the morning and the items you want to do one by one. And I do normally that kind of scheduling every day. I know what I want to do during the daytime and I by and large follow that routine, and therefore I'm not distracted, I'm not invaded, I'm not exposing myself to all kinds of things. So this is very important, that mind should be uncluttered, mind thought process should be clean, and it should be directed in a very what you call the very mission which you have decided for life. Otherwise your health would be impacted. So these are some of the important elements of good health. Now I want to go a little bit more on the sleep side, what happens in the sleep and how our immune system operates. You see, everything in life has two aspects. If there's a day, there's a night. And night has its own utility, day has its own utility. In the daytime, we work, we use our energy, we earn our livelihood, we interact with people, we have social activities, we have family activities. In the night time, our immune system is boosted. The entire energy is directed inside. The repair of the body takes place inside. And the deeper the sleep, the faster the repair is, because then the mind is not distracted by anything. If you have a dreamless sleep, your repair would be very fast and you will be fresh very quickly. But if you are dreaming, then mind is partly occupied with the dream and partly with the recovery. So in the night time, for example, when you get up in the morning, you will have some, gid in the eyes, you will have something in the ear, you feel, that you have to go to the toilet, and you have to go to the urinals. Why? All this has happened because the cleaning process has taken place in the night time. So the best time to sleep is 10 to 5 or 6, whatever you like. That is the time when the repair of the system happens. And that is the time when your immune system is strengthened. The immune system should be strengthened. If you keep taking modern medications, if you can keep taking antibiotic, your immune system completely is exposed. It weakens. There was a time when antibiotics were cherished. Today, the same doctors say that excessive use of antibiotics actually damages your immune system, and then you are not able to protect yourself. So my suggestion would be to avoid all chemical-based medicines to the extent possible. If you have to take medications, first thing you should do is to change your food habit to suit that it will help in recovery of your body. And then you should take Ayurvedic medicine to begin with, which are, based on food and herbs, and they become part of your body. But in certain cases, when certain diseases have gone beyond proportions, then you cannot be cured with Ayurvedic process, because Ayurvedic process operates only where you have maintained your immune system in good health, and where the disease actually are constantly under control. But when the disease has gone out of control, you have already exposed yourself properly, then you need something more dramatic, and that is where you need allopathic treatment or surgery, whatever is required. In that case, you have to take that treatment, but as soon as the treatment is over, you go back to your routine and try to follow the food habits as I mentioned, try to follow the sun cycle, try to follow the waste disposal system, try to follow your exercise regime, try to follow your sleep cycle properly, and you will realize that your health is restored back to normal. I think this is extremely important to get rid of these chemical-based medicines, not to take excessive pills or excessive, I won't even suggest vitamins and proteins taking in the form of tablets. Look at our ancestors. How many of them took vitamins and proteins in the form of tablets? They only take fresh, good food, and that takes care of it. Nature takes care of us. We take natural food, we take water from nature, we take healthy air. I think that is good enough for us to maintain good health. But if the damage has happened, for restoration of that damage, to begin with, you can take allopathic treatment. But after taking that treatment, after reasonable recovery, you should abandon all those medications and you should go back to your good daily routine, which I explained to you in a little while. So that is Dincharya. Dincharya is the most significant part of our life. So let me repeat this once again. When you get up in the morning, please take 2 glasses of warm water. Go to the toilet, dispose of your waste, take your shower. After taking your shower, it would be good to have some prayer or some good thoughts or some meditation before you start your day. That is one part in the beginning. Then you should, whenever you eat, you should eat fresh food, seasonal food, well-cooked food, hot food. Don't take, stale food. Don't take items which are lying in refrigerator for days together. And there are a lot of fresh vegetables available in the market in India. There's no problem. So take fresh, and well-cooked and properly, freshly cooked food. That is extremely important. Then follow your, exercise regime. Follow your, sun cycle system. Get up with the sun. Try to sleep. Don't eat too late in the night. Particularly, for example, Jains don't eat at all after sunset. The basic principle is that the digestive power doesn't work. They also say that you end up eating some insect. That's also possible when the sun is not there. But the basic fundamental rule is that the digestive system works very well when the sun is still around. After sunset, it doesn't work well. So don't eat too late in the night. So, and have a good sleep. 7 to 8 hours, 6 hours to 8 hours sleep is extremely important for recovery of the body. And then periodically you should take Panchkarma once in a year or once in 2 years, depending on your waste collection in the body. The root cause of the problem is the waste collection. The toxins get deposited in different parts of the body, and they develop into variety of diseases, including cancer and heart problems and chronic diseases. All that can be avoided if you take Panchkarma once in a year or once in 2 years. That is very significant. Then, of course, exercise, daily routine of exercise. Some exercise you must fix for yourself every day as part of your routine, and then keeping your mind clean. And that is extremely important. Don't allow the garbage to go inside the mind. The garbage ultimately impacts on your body in variety of ways. It changes your habits, it changes your thinking process, it makes you sometimes, lazy, it makes you unnecessarily active. So neither laziness nor excessive activeness is good for mind. We have to keep the balance between rajas and tamas. Tamas is laziness and rajas is activeness. We have to keep balance between the two, and that is how we can reach the balanced sattvic state. So these are some important principles of maintaining good health just by following a good routine. You don't require to take any medications if you follow a good routine. I can tell you about myself, not that I have not, I had also developed certain wrong habits, but then with, determination, I quit all those habits and I set my routine correctly. And I can tell you that I don't take any medication of any nature, nor do I avoid any specific items of food, nor do I take anything in excess. I think that is the best way of living. Even if I have some problem, I try to change my food or try to skip a meal. Skipping a meal is also important. That gives rest to your digestive system and restores your immunity. So the first thing one can do, particularly animals do that. If an animal is sick, they don't eat. So if you are sick, if you don't eat for a day or two, you will be set right. That is how the body works. So the upvas is also important. Once a while, one should take, one should decide not to eat or eat only once a day. That is also an important aspect of our daily routine. So I think with these words, I would like to conclude this talk on healthy living. Healthy living is not something miraculous. It is just a routine set for one's own self, based on certain healthy principles of eating, exercise, sleep, waste disposal, following sun cycle, and things like that. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy to try and attempt to answer those.